We are going to go ahead and start with part 2, yes, of the ethics series. So I hope number 1 gave you some inspiration, some motivation to realize that, hey, this ethics thing can be fun. It is something I need to know. So I'm just going to take these notes and just figure out a way to obtain the information so I can do extremely well on my exam. So I'm going to jump into part 2, and we're going to talk about confidentiality and privacy. So the objective of this training is for you to be able to explore the ethical guidelines surrounding confidentiality and privacy and how we can manage them when we're practicing as social workers. And as always, hit me up in the comment section with any questions, any things you need me to elaborate on. I'd be more than happy to assist you. Also, in the description box, you will see my email and contact information if you want to message me on Instagram or if you want to send me an email. I'm here to help you. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to choose between keeping a client's confidence and ensuring their safety? Now, that's where confidentiality can be tricky. So today we're going to break down how to handle these situations while staying aligned with the NASW Code of Ethics. So I'm going to give you a brief overview. Confidentiality is a cornerstone of social work practice, but it comes with some limitations. Now, if you know when to keep information private and when to disclose it, you're in a good position because that is one of the toughest parts of our jobs. So in this video, we'll cover the importance of confidentiality, when it can be broken, and the best practices for maintaining privacy. What is confidentiality? So first, let's break this down. We're going to define it and talk about the importance. Confidentiality is about respecting a client or an individual's right to privacy. It means that as social workers, we don't share client information without permission, except in certain specific circumstances. Clients need to trust us when their personal stories are being told to us, and they have to trust that we're going to protect that information. After all, when you're building a rapport with a client and you're engaging with them and they're sharing their life stories and all the trauma and different things that they've been through in life, they believe that whatever they're sharing with you will not be shared with anyone else. This is how we protect our clients' information and we keep their information in confidence. Let's talk about the limitations of confidentiality. When confidentiality can actually be broken. And I need you to really listen up because this is really important. Confidentiality isn't absolute. There are exceptions that social workers must know inside and out. So here we go. If a client poses a danger to themselves or others, confidentiality can be broken. Whenever there's a case of child abuse, elder abuse, or other mandated reporting situations, confidentiality can be broken. And then you have legal requirements like court orders. Sometimes you can be ordered by the court to share information and things that you might have discussed with your clients in confidence. So please, please, please keep in mind, those are the major things. Are clients at risk of hurting themselves or someone else? Any child abuse, elder, or other mandated reporting situations, and legal situations. So if you're ever in doubt, always consult the code and get supervision or either legal advice to ensure you're making the right call. That is a must because there are limits to confidentiality. So make sure you remember those because that is something that will likely pop up on you when it's time to take the exam. Confidentiality in digital communication. Wherever we're protecting privacy in the digital age, there's some things that we have to consider. So right now we're in today's world and we communicate all the time. We're doing emails, we're doing text messaging, we're doing video chats, but we have to make sure that our communication methods are secure. That is a requirement in this profession. So it doesn't matter what the client chooses to do and how they choose to communicate with us, it's how we choose to communicate with them and respond. So remember, client information has to be protected at all times. So if you're going to email clients, make sure you have a HIPAA compliant email system. Make sure your email is encrypted. Use a secure platform for all your video sessions. And you never want to store your client's information on unsecured devices. This is very, very important, guys, because if you violate this and you don't make sure that your client's information stays confidential and it is exposed to other people, then there's steps that you have to take and you have to be reported because you have violated this client's confidentiality. To make things easier, make sure that you're always using encryption, secure platforms, whatever you're using is HIPAA compliant. Again, these trainings are not meant to be long, but they're meant to give you the meat of what you need to understand when it's time to answer questions and prepare for this exam. Now, there are some special considerations when it comes to vulnerable populations. So I want you to hear me out and listen to this. We're talking about minors, families, and privacy. So when you're working with minors, things can be a little tricky. Parents or guardians often want to know what's going on in them sessions, but your primary responsibility is still to who? You're absolutely right. The client. Balancing these relationships, though, can be very, very challenging. So you have to be careful and use proper judgment. If you're working with a family or doing some group work, it's crucial to set clear boundaries about what can and cannot be shared between the family members. I've had a situation come up. Well, I've had a question that I posed to my team, and I've also seen it pop up on some other study material. And the question is, you're working with a client and say she's 14 years old and she's sexually active and she doesn't want you to tell her parents. But you as the therapist are like, oh my goodness, she's so young. She needs to be on birth control or needs to take protection or needs to have an adult, be aware of her actions and so forth. So you're in your head. However, you have to remember, although you're in your head, you are this individual's therapist or their worker or whatever role you play. So in that case, according to what we read, if the client is not at risk of hurting herself or himself or anyone else, it's no need to report. If it's not any mandatory stuff that you need to report, you're going to have to find a way to get that client to collaborate with their parents and get them to kind of open up and share with some trusted adult. Now, if the same scenario said that she was 14 and she was dating or sleeping with a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old or 18-year-old, someone that is definitely an adult in age of consent, then that would change the dynamics. That's more of a legal issue. You have some legality stuff going on. If it says that the child is 14 and they're having sexual relations or connecting with someone that's younger than them, it's a 6 or 7-year-old, 8-year-old, then of course they're kind of in a different role. They're more like maybe in a child caring position. Maybe they're a babysitter at 14 or 15 and they're taking care of this younger child and they share with you they've done something harmful. They have put that person at risk. And it is a mandated reporting situation. So those are the situations where you have to think a little bit more and have some more detail on how you move and proceed. But be mindful of it. You are the client's worker and you have to make sure you adhere to their situation and the information that they share with you. So let me get some engagement with you guys. I'm going to give you a little scenario and then we'll see where this takes you. And I want to get your mind going and you take out your pen and your paper and your notepad and write out your notes and all that good stuff. And we'll see from there. Here goes the scenario. Imagine you're working with a 16-year-old child who admits that they're experimenting with dangerous behaviors, but begs you not to tell their parents. What do you do? Say the person's using drugs or having sex. They're just doing things that are very risque. The answer lies in understanding your limits of confidentiality. To answer this question, you can go back, review this presentation, and it clearly states in there when confidentiality is okay to be broken, because there are some limits to it. So see, does this meet the limits? If not, how would you proceed? I hope this was hella helpful to you. In the next video, we'll tackle another big topic, which is managing boundaries and dual relationships, which is very, very important. And it often happens when we're working in this profession, this good old social work profession. So trust me, you don't want to miss out on this one. Make sure that you're taking your notes. Make sure that you're asking questions. Please make sure that you are putting comments in the chat section, comments under the video, so I can know if this is helping you, if you need some elaboration on something, if you need some additional support. We do live, real test prep groups and study. Those are not recorded, but we do a lot of different mixtures of helping people and guiding them in different ways on a test taking journey. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Don't suffer in silence. If this test is kicking your butt and stressing you out, that is what we're here for. Remember LCSW Vibes, like and subscribe. And until the next time, you continue to have an amazing day or an amazing week, and make sure you do so on purpose. Be blessed. Until the next one.